Welcome to another episode of the Scrumptious Woman. With me, I have Anna Knight, who is the most delightful creature, because I'm not, I'm going to just leave it like that a little bit. But I love that you say that people are in their I'm not good enough spiral and how you then help people through that. And fuck me. I've been there too, and I continue to be there from time to time. Welcome to the Scrumptious Woman.
Thank you for having me.
I love it. And we just talked that you'd had an experience last week where you got trolled massively online. Are you comfortable sharing that?
I get trolled all the time. This is my bread and butter existence on the internet. I think there's something about seeing someone who so clearly doesn't fit the mold. I don't perform femininity for people unless I feel like it. I don't slim myself down. I don't shrink myself. I don't normalize myself. Like the video you're referring to, I got trolled on, was selling my well-being membership while pretending to hop over a gate in the forest, like completely making a tit out of myself on the internet. But what they really can't stand is that I'm not embarrassed about myself. I don't care. And that is what's really scary for the trolls. It's really standard that I get at least one person telling me that I'm fat or mentally unwell or that trans people don't exist or like, that's life.
It's interesting, right? Because you really say that's life. But for a lot of us, we go out there and we try and be our authentic selves. And then we get a little setback, like the universe kind of saying, hey, you really want to be that weird? You really want to be that authentic? Let me send you some freaking haters. And I mean, I get all the time. And yet there are some parts of me that's like, I did definitely tone down a little bit. I used to walk around with orgasm expert t-shirts and the pussy nose. And I've got 4 kids that are Muslim, and then they're like, Mommy, come on, what the fuck?
I love that.
A little bit tone deaf there, a little bit blind as well, maybe.
But it's such a good point. And I think you're right that I'm saying that's life. That's my life now.
Beautiful.
Even a year ago, my life looked very different. 10 years ago, unrecognizable. Like, if anyone's watching this on the visuals, they'll see like a pink-haired, kind of punky, androgynous person. Like, I'm non-binary and open about that now. But 10 years ago, I was a thin brunette who power dressed their way through their corporate career. Wow. Like, I call it like turning myself into a pretzel. Like, every time I met an edge, I twisted myself again to try and be lovable, to try and be acceptable, to try and fit in. And I've been doing that since I was teeny tiny. I can remember moments where I was 5 and 6 doing the same. And I got to 30 and had bit of a come to Jesus moment in the parking lot of a Kroger's, of all places. Like, as a British person, it's not often you have that come to Jesus moment in the parking lot of a Kroger's, but I could tell you exactly when it landed. It was the day after Trump got elected, and I was with my ex-husband at the time, and that was a very emotionally unsafe relationship. Like, I've been through domestic violence services since then. And I was talking about Trump had got elected, and I had a lot of LGBT friends in America who were terrified. This was the first time. This was 2016. They were scared, and they were messaging me saying they were scared. And I was scared. I was there going, well, I'm bisexual, I'm disabled. It was a scary world to be in. And he said, I don't get why you expect me to care because, I'm a straight, white, able-bodied man. Even if these changes land in the UK, it's not going to affect me. At this moment of going, but I am your wife. Like, for all the challenges in our relationship, can you not understand that I've been turning myself inside out trying to please you for the last 10 years? 15 years at that point we'd been together, married for 8. And you can't see that something that impacted me should impact you too.
That was the beginning of the end of that marriage, right?
I asked for a divorce a week later. I was like, I'm out.
Well, but sometimes you need to hit that really rude frigging awakening where it's like slap you in the face that you cannot deny it anymore. It's like, if I'm spending the rest of my life with someone who can't accept me for who I am, what the heck am I doing?
Exactly. And it was like a slap. Like, that is the perfect, like, it hurt.
Oh, man.
Because in that moment, not only are you dealing with that moment, but you're going, oh my God, and how did I get here? Like, what choices did I make in the run up to this? That, like, how did I get from the wild child I was and the punk teenager I was and all those versions of younger me to this moment where I've married a man who can't even understand why he should care that minorities' rights are getting oppressed? Like, how did I get here? And that hurts too, because you look back at every time you pretzel yourself and every time you shrink for someone else and you go, my God, if I'd done that differently, where would I be?
I love the phrase that you've used twice now. You pretzel yourself because you're taking on identity, taking on
Yeah.
personas that aren't you. And we've learned to do this, as you said, as of the age of 5. If you actually look at the science behind it, babies are like sponges up to the
Yeah.
age of 2. They take everything in. And then up to the age of 5, it's still a lot of it is pre-verbal. So you just take all the imprints from what's going on.
Yeah.
And you realize you have to try and fit in there.
And it carries through as this legacy that, like, this time last year, a little bit before February 2025, I'd been a coach for 5 years by this point, and I've done my trauma training. I've done like neurodivergent training. I'm like, yeah, I get it, and I still wouldn't put my face on the internet. Wouldn't do it. And I was in a training because, like, if you don't put your face on the internet, it's really hard to make money as a coach.
Right? Because it's like, hey, we want to know what your stands are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people need to hear you.
Mhm.
But I couldn't do that. And in the training, the person who I now work with as a mentor, she was like, what are you so afraid of will happen? And I was like, so they'll call me fat.
Darling, I was twice my size, so I've been called fat all my life.
My mentor is for themselves, and they were like, so what? What happens when they call you fat? And I didn't have an answer. I was like, well, that'll feel horrible. She was like, well, it only feels horrible if you believe that fat is a bad thing. And I was like, well, in anyone else, it's not a bad thing. But in me, because I'm unforgivable, because I'm not good enough, like, that's the problem. What bullshit is saying? I would never say that to a client.
You so nailed it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
for me, that's unacceptable. For you, I would not coach you that
Yeah.
way. But that's it. I keep saying this to my partner and my people that I work with. I'm like, would you speak to someone the way that you speak to yourself? Would you accept that? Would you speak to your daughter like that? Would you speak to your best friend like that? Would you speak to your client like that? And they're like, hell no. I'm like, then stop it.
I think it goes one step further, and it links so beautifully to something you said before, Juliet. You might not speak to them like that, but they're little sponges around you. They're seeing every moment you step back, every moment you shrink yourself, every moment you censor yourself. Like, that's where we learned it. When I was a baby, I didn't learn it from people being like, baby, stop crying. I learned it from watching my mum and my big sister and my grandmothers shrink themselves and accept less and think that they had to control who they were and what they put out into the world. I saw my dad do it. I saw my brothers do it. Like, I saw everyone around me shrinking and went, that must be how you are when you grow up. You must be less. You must be smaller, because if you're big, you're wrong. And if you're wrong, you're unlovable.
It's so intricate, right? They are cross-wired in our brain, and our subconscious immediately goes there. And it also goes offline. I know that you're a trauma coach as well. So you know what happens in the body, in the nervous system. And you're scanning and you're like, whoa, this is impossible. And then you put on top of it that neurodiversity, non-binary, and people are like, what is this crap? That's just bullshit. Hey, stop. It might not be true for you. And there are a lot of us in the world that this is actually super important for. And I find by calling people woman or she, her, or him, and they're like, no, were they, them. So that's when you came on. I'm like, I'm not going to call you woman because I know that's not what you lean towards. But it's also like, let's be honest that we fuck up from time to time.
I genuinely don't mind if someone messes up my pronouns or misgenders me, as long as they're not doing it to be a dick. That's my threshold, is as long as you try, cool. And the same with any of my identities. So people talk about my disabilities, but they do it clunky. Or like, as long as you're not using slurs about my disability. The people who care hold themselves to this crazy standard of I must be perfect. But the bar's actually quite low. And the people who don't clear it do it on purpose.
No, but I remember when I was working in the erotic blueprints of Jayama, and one of the woman then came out as, hey, I'm non-binary, and she was teaching us all about it. And even
Mm,
Jaya was getting it wrong because she
mm,
was doing some stuff on the body. And it's like, look, she's holding. And it's like, we're all like, no, they, them. We're all correcting. But, it was just such a great immersion that we all just mess
mm.
up from time to time. And if there's no harm in messing up, but then also repairing it, saying, hey,
Yeah.
I might get this wrong. I don't mean to hurt you.
Like,
How can I remember? Like for me, sometimes I just have like little post-its like they, them. And
I
it's little things like that.
my partner is a trans guy, and when he came out to me first, and we played pronoun salad for years because I was trying not to out him to anyone else. But when he was
Oh,
like, "No, I'm fully coming out," I practiced in the bathroom mirror talking about him in the third person just to get it into my neural pathway. Because I was like, I'm gonna mess this up because for like 4 years I've known, but no one else has known, and it's been like just whatever pronoun I throw out in the moment. I was like, I need to practice this. Literally, when I was like washing my face or like having a shower, I'd stand and talk to myself and practice talking about him
I
just to
love.
get it in the brain. Like, but on
But
the times I messed up, he knew I tried, so it didn't hurt him because he knew it was just a slip of the linguistic circuit. Like,
but that's also it, right? And we were speaking earlier that this slips in from so early. And
mm.
then the whole pronoun and non-binary thing. If we look at history, that's pretty recent and pretty new.
Well, see, it's interesting you say that because it's such a cultural thing. When you go back to like ancient Mesopotamia, so like the earliest recorded civilizations have non-binary genders. India have had a third gender
Yes.
going back historically for as long as they can. The certain Native American tribes have two-spirit people who are an in-between gender. Like, we think of trans and non-binary people as this new invention, but you look at like myths, like there's Loki in the Viking myths who was non-binary and appeared as
Yeah.
a man or a woman. Zeus in the Greek myths appeared as a woman sometimes, and sometimes he was a bull or a swan. Or like this fluidity that people have had has always been here.
It's true. It's actually really true. That would be a super cool post or a super cool
Mm,
to like, hey, we all think that this is
yeah,
new, but it's only new because it's in social media and it's
yeah,
in the news, newly, maybe say the last
yeah.
10, 20 years or so. But actually,
We lost it culturally. But
yeah,
when you look at trans history, like there's a book called The Amazing Case of Ewan Forbies, and it's about how the law in the UK changed so that transgender people became illegal to transition gender. And it was in the 80s, I believe. And it only happened because the trans guy, Ewan Forbies, his older brother died. He was a trans man. He was due to inherit the estate because he was a trans man, but born female. And there was a legal challenge by someone else in the family who wanted the estate done by rich people. That's how the law changed for transgender people in the UK. He
isn't that
went over to Weimar, Germany, and had gender transition and hormone treatment in the 30s and 40s. We think of it
right?
as the last 5 years trans people have just magically appeared. We've always been here.
It's just been more underground, a little bit more.
Yeah,
Didn't hear about it as much. It's not as in the public as now.
exactly.
Which, for a lot of things have had to more awareness has had to become for it. And
Yeah.
and sometimes, yes, that means being louder.
I like to me that's what happens is that more people are louder, more people are unapologetic, more people not just about gender, but about so many things are going like, yeah, the thing that with going back to where we started with these trolls, the moment I was like, yeah, I'm fat.
This is my body.
You don't need to know I am fat, but trust that I'm doing what I need to care for my body. And they were like, no, you can't possibly love yourself because you're letting yourself remain fat. And I'm like, no, true self-love, like when you've really broken that I'm not good enough spiral, you can love the ugly bits of yourself and the non-acceptable bits of yourself and the bits that everyone looks at and goes like, how can you love that you're untidy? How can you love that you're disorganized? How can you love that you're fat? And I'm like, because it's just a bit of the pie chart. Like, it's the smallest, teeniest, tiny part of me in a me that is vast.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, reevaluating some of those words. It's like fat does not mean unsexy. Like I am fat and I am sexy as fuck.
There you go.
Who cares?
I think it's because we're so it's so indoctrinated into what a woman should look like, what a man should look like. What if you're non-binary? Where do you then fit? So you don't fit in this box and you don't fit in this box. And I think that's what it is. People just want to put in a little box. It's easier for them.
And even then, like I'd say there is a non-binary box. So for me, my journey to being non-binary, I didn't realize until a couple of years ago. I'd spent my whole life going, woman was like another mask. It was like, I'm shit at it, so I need to pretend to be a woman better. Like I need to do this woman thing right because I'm not doing it. Like I don't fully relate to women's experiences, and is that my neurodivergence, is that my disability, whatever. And then about 18 months ago I went, do you know what, if I just identified as non-binary, I can put all of that to one side and just be Anna.
Super good, isn't it?
And for me, that was just, it was another of those threshold moments where I went, oh yeah, I can just be Anna. Cool, sorted. I don't have to be a shit woman anymore. I can be a fucking excellent Anna. Like, nailed it.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head, and it's not only about sexes or binary, non-binary, but it's even like, I know my sister, and she's passed away now, but she never thought that she was a very good mom because she just didn't have a lot of maternal instincts. And when the kids would come home from school, that was her time that she would go lie down and watch her soaps. And the kids are like, Mom, we've been at school all day. What the heck? So she'd call me. She's like, you always have to, your house, and you know how to dress, and you know how to cook, and your kids. And it's like, I'm just such a failure as a mom and a wife. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to stop it. You can be however you want it to be. And it's like, thank God her husband took over at one point with the food because he'd be like cooking something and then completely forgot about it and everything was burned. So he's like, you know what, darling, I will take over cooking the food. And the kids were like super happy because the times that she did cook, it was like pizza night because things wouldn't work out. But it was just like, hey, stop putting yourself and stop trying to fit into those boxes. It just
like something I say to my clients all the time about this idea of being a bad whatever, a bad mum, a bad woman, a bad employee, a bad business owner, but bad anything is like the only way to be really, truly bad, in my belief system, is to intentionally cause harm. To go, I'm going to do this to hurt you. Everything else is repairable.
I with a lot of sexual trauma. I've met my my rapists, not all of them, and we actually had proper conversation. You can actually sit and just discuss. It's like, hey, this was pretty fucked up.
A lot of people that I know will say to me, like, how can you be so graceful to your ex-husband, when I tell them like things that happen between us, and they're like, how can you extend him grace? And I'm like, because I was there for a lot of his journey. Like, I can see how he got to the point of doing those things, and I can say that wasn't acceptable and I don't have to tolerate that anymore. I truly, truly believe that me leaving him was the best thing I could have done for him, because we were keeping each other trapped in a cycle.
And that's awful.
And I set myself free, but by doing that, I gave him the opportunity to break that cycle too. I don't know what he's done with it because we're not in contact, but that was done with love and with kindness and with going, if we stay together anymore, we're going to get worse. I don't have to accept what you've done, but I don't have to turn him into an irredeemable cartoon villain. He's free now. He could be living an amazing life. He could be living a terrible life. I don't know. But I know he wasn't going to get to an amazing life with me because the patterns we were perpetuating in each other were keeping us stuck.
Isn't that it? We all run patterns. And once we can start to recognize them and then do differently, that's it. And life is just, if I look at it, and some of us get dealt pretty harsh blows, and then it's like, okay, let's see if we can expand. Let's expand our capacity to hold things like that. And I really feel that's what it is. It's like, okay, so I've expanded a little bit more. So, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is giving me a little bit more. I'm like, ooh, okay. Oh, I'm still running that pattern, except it's a little bit, you can't see it as much.
Yeah.
okay, when is it going to stop?
Even with when I said what I said about intentional harm, I think it's about doing it, recognizing it, and choosing to keep doing it.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that, there are very few people in this world that I believe are truly irredeemable. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people do bad things, do hurtful things because of their own unmet pain. All those trolls on my post, they can't confront what is going on in their lives, so they can pass the hurt out. And when it didn't land with me, that really set off their nervous systems, because they were like, well, now I've got the hurt back again. What am I meant to do with this?
And that's the thing, right? Because I've gotten quite a few trolls lately, and some of my reels have hit like 200K. For me, that's like, whoa, that's a lot. My little nervous system's going like, whoo, okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of new men in my social media who actually do want to learn what's happening in a woman's body. Yes, I do confirm as that. Yeah, I identify as a woman, and especially now, what's happening with the CNN report, with Epstein files, all of that. So, what's happening in our nervous system and how that tightens and what they're doing. But I'm actually teaching them, hey, it's much older than you. But these things that you can do, these are the things that you can look at. I've
Yeah.
had a load of men just saying, oh, bullshit, the white woman giving relationship advice, is that. And then some of them I've gone back and I've corrected. I'm actually speaking to this part right now,
Yeah.
speaking to sexual violence, to what's happening in a woman's body. And a lot of them have come back saying, I didn't get that that's what you were speaking to. I said, no, because you don't know what it's like to live in this body. You don't know, like when you see 5 guys approaching on one side of the street, you automatically go to the other side of the street just because you've had an incident where, once it wasn't safe. It's like, that's what I'm speaking to. I'm not saying that all men are bad. There are a lot of angry women out there at the moment as well. I'm not one of them, but I'm just trying to translate what's going on in her body so that you can start becoming aware of the pattern.
That's such a good point, Juliet. Like, so many people say to me, oh, why do you engage with your trolls? And for me, there's 2 really clear reasons. The first one being, every now and again, there's one that you can get through to. So yesterday, there was one guy on my post, I'm assuming he was a guy, that is a gendered assumption of mine, who I said to him, like, okay, why do you care that I'm fat? Like, what is it to you? And he was like, well, I'm just trying to help. And I was like, okay, how are you helping me? And he was like, well, because when you're old, like, mobility will be really hard for you. And like, I've had mobility issues and that's really sucked. And so, like, you need to learn. And I was like, okay, so if I tell you I'm doing this and this and this about my mobility, do you still care that I'm fat? He came to, like, at the end, going from like telling me off for being fat to, I wish you luck on your healing journey.
And that's like, oh, you're actually kind of cool and good luck.
In that moment, he changed. But the other person I'm speaking to when I speak to trolls is not the trolls themselves, because the ones who are really committed to trying to hurt your feelings, then they're not open. But it's the people around who are watching the conversation play out. I get so many messages about, oh my God, Anna, when you said that back to that person, that's the thing I've always wished I could say. Or I've never heard someone say that. How do you believe in yourself enough to be able to stand up for yourself like that? And that's where I can be like, oh yeah, I teach that. It's because I love myself. And they're like, yeah, I could never love myself. And I'm like, yeah, you could, because that's what I teach.
That's going to take us beautifully to the end. First of all, can you give us 3 ways that you teach how to accept love, really accept your authentic self? If someone's listening saying like, this so fucking resonated with me, give me the 3 tips and then go into how they can work with you.
The first one, and this is what my brand name is, the Audacious and that is actually my number 1 tool. It is the idea that when we have a bad thought about ourselves, when we are mean to ourselves in our head, we try and deny it. And then our brain throws up all the evidence that it's true. Like, I am fat and fat is bad. My brain goes, but I can't, like, you say, oh, it's not true. It's like, oh, but I am fat, so I can't deny it. If you add an and instead of a but, you balance it out. I am fat. And I have a partner who thinks I'm really sexy. 2 truths. One takes the sting out of the other. I am untidy and I care about my family. 2 truths takes the sting out. And the more ands you do, it reverses the spiral. Like, I have taken myself from crying in a shop because I couldn't find a coat that fit me to I'm going to go online and research coats because I deserve to be outdoors and enjoying myself. Just by adding ands. So that's tip number 1. If you're being mean to yourself, don't try and deny it. Just add it as an and.
I love that.
And I do it for everything. Like I say to my clients, I'm a bad mum because I had snapped at my kids. And they're like, and then I went and repaired it. And I'm like, okay, so are you a bad mum? No. Like, so always validate with an and.
Yeah. Take the butt out. But, you got a nice butt. You can squeeze your butt. No other butts.
The second one is to swap how you calculate value. So we all calculate our value. We're taught to calculate our value on, I have the good things I've done. Here are my achievements minus the bad things I am. You're never going to win with that equation. Never, never, never. If you're a pie chart where they all go in the pie chart, I did this and that was good, and I'm untidy, and I'm ADHD, and my partner thinks I'm sexy, and I make myself laugh, and I love books, and I snapped at my business partner the other day, and put it all in a pie chart. The glorious thing about a pie chart is that the circle is always complete. You are always whole if you're a pie chart, and the more stuff you put in a pie chart, the less eclipsing the bad things are. It's not like fat is 90% of my pie chart. It's just a sliver of the pie. So pie charts is like my big thing. And then the third tip is to notice when you are being mean to yourself and ask yourself what would make you feel more safe. Because that's what that I'm not good enough spiral is at its core, is it's your internal system going, I'm not safe and I need to protect myself.
That's it, right? Safety is such a big thing. And are we ever really safe, right? I mean, just driving down to the shops or walking out on the street. How safe are we? But it's that external, it's that vigilance center that's constant scanning.
A spiral we naturally go down. Like I call mine the cardboard box death spiral, because the root fear at the bottom of all my spirals is I will be so bad that I will lose all my money, that I will lose my home, and I will die in a box on the streets. Cardboard box death. We all have our own version of that. I've worked with people who thought they were going to go to prison because they snapped at their kids. The husband would leave them because of this. Or like, we all have our own version of this is peak unsafety for me. Mine is losing a home. It might be losing a person. It might be losing a job or losing a part of yourself. Whatever it is, when you recognize that I'm not good enough spiral is trying to protect you from that, you can respond in a targeted way. So now when I'm going, because I still have that I'm not good enough moments, like we all meet those edges, but now when I spot them, I'll do some ands to balance myself out. And then I go, what would make me feel more at home? What grounds me in my home? Because if I'm home, I'm not dying in a cardboard box.
Beautiful.
Worried about losing a person, rather than how can I fix myself to make me lovable? How can I spend quality time with that person?
Completely. Love it.
Like, changes the focus up to go, cardboard box that is happening. How can I be at home? Like, respond targeted rather than shrinking yourself. It's my 3 tips.
Love it. Now, where do people find you if they're like, yeah, we want to work with her? Everything will be in the notes, but I also just want to say it.
My Instagram is my main place that I hang out, which is the Audacious And. My website is audaciousand.com. You can find me on Facebook with my name, Anna Knight, on LinkedIn with my name, Anna Knight, and it all, like, if you see the word audacious next to an Anna Knight, it's me.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
Can I pull a card for you?
Yes, please.
That means you are going to have to answer.
I am here for it.
All right. It's from my couples edition, Healing and Growth. Tell me what old story about intimacy you're rewriting.
That's such a good one. And I know exactly what it is. And I talked about this at an event last week, and it really confronted a load of people. I am rewriting the story that it is wrong to be greedy. That in intimacy, I have always had the story that you must be the giver. And I am rewriting that story to say not just wanting stuff, some intimacy, but that I can be greedy about intimacy. Because when I'm greedy, then I have more capacity to give. So it all feeds itself. So that is my new story. I am allowed to be greedy. Greedy feeds intimacy.
Thank you. Beautiful way to finish this. Thank you so much for being on.
Such a pleasure.